So I've been a member of VMUG since 2012. And by far the best thing that I've gotten out of VMUG is the camaraderie. So there's, the users that continuously go there. We get to see each other. It's kind of like a, high school reunion, only it happens monthly.
Oh, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Birmingham. My name is Dave Simpson, leader of the esteemed bunch of folks who I'll introduce you to shortly, who are running the UK UserCon for you today. So before we get going, and because there is some slides that involve this, hopefully you've had a look. Free Wi-Fi is available. Just don't ask me for the details. Now, as usual with these events, we can't do this without the support of a whole raft of sponsors. So, most importantly, I just want to get the names out there of all the people that you're going to go and visit today, aren't you? In the expo, over the way. You've been in there already. Please go and see all our sponsors. As I say, we cannot do this without the support of those guys. Now then, the UKVMUG team. Myself, Dave Simpson at the bottom there. Chris, wave to the audience, Chris. There's Chris. Linda, John, and Gareth at the back there. Also, ably supported by these fine young gentlemen. Wave to us at the back there, William at the back there, Dwight at the back there. Your own's around somewhere. So yeah, thank you very, very much. Again, to the left, guys. We can't do this without the support of VMUG HQ. So please give a bunch of thanks to the folks who've put this on for us. I appreciate it very much. Now then, if you go to VMware Explore, you get to see all those forward-looking slides and everybody gets to read through those. This is our equivalent of that. It's the administrative part, but it's worth a quick mention. Some of these kind of go without saying, but please do be respectful of everybody you might meet today. We're going to operate realistically a zero-tolerance policy. If you've got any issues with anything you see or hear, come and speak to one of the VMUG leaders or come and speak to one of the staff that we introduced to you a minute ago. We'll sort it out for you. Equally, everybody's come here to listen to the speakers, so please, if you've got something to say that's important to a colleague, please take that outside, or if the phone rings, you've got life or business to attend to. Please just hop outside. More importantly, it shouldn't be an issue today. If you can't hear somebody, let them know at the start of their session rather than at the end. That's not the feedback that any speaker wants to get on a feedback form. And finally, really, anything discussed here, It's likely to be out on X, Twitter, whatever social media platform it's called these days, before you finish saying it. So please be aware that anything discussed here is deemed to be public. And finally, if you do hear a fire alarm, please respect that. You can see where the exits are here. All the other rooms are going to be marked up similarly, so please, if you hear anything, please proceed accordingly. So, I get to serve on the VMUG Board of Directors. Weirdly, I've done it for 5 years already. It doesn't feel like that. Sometimes I think that gets me, or people think that gets me a big inside track in finding out what's going on inside VMware. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But VMUG's been an important part of my life for quite a while. You might wonder what the VMUG Board of Directors is all about. It's realistically representing all of you guys globally, making sure that we talk to the likes of VMware, Broadcom, partners, sponsors, etc., to put on events for yourselves around the world, local chapters and user cons like this. VMware also came along to us and said, would you like to talk to us about security? That wasn't the security that Samantha from the board and myself had in mind. But there we are. This was back in Vegas in August, where Raghu was, of course, talking to us about a certain acquisition that was well underway by that point. And he took great pains to explain to the assembled VMUG leaders that the support offered to VMUG wouldn't change. In fact, the support offered to VMUG was likely to be greater than it's been at this point. So I felt that was a really important thing to reiterate here. Obviously, back then, there was less certainty than we've got right now. So we know what the news is this week. VMware by Broadcom, it's complete. The merger is done. Things will shape up over the next few weeks, I'm sure. Now, I didn't look very delighted in the last picture. I look a lot more delighted in this one for some reason. Not quite sure what tickled me so much at that particular point. But for those of you that don't know, the gentleman in the middle there is Mr. Hoktan from Broadcom. So this is VMware Explore Barcelona. There was a leader gathering, VMUG leader gathering on the Sunday. Hock came along to speak to us to realistically address any concerns that the community might have. He spent, well over an hour circulating around, chatting with leaders, answering questions, reassuring us again that the support that VMware has offered us for these many years is going to continue with Broadcom. He told us a few other things as well that perhaps weren't public knowledge at that time. They've been publicized now. We all know there's going to be a VMware Explore Europe again next year. That wasn't announced until the previous one just finished. So he tipped us the wink on a couple of things like that. So at the minute, if he's told me something, I'm likely to believe that he's telling us the truth. So the support for VMUG will continue. VMUG's gone on the record already and said the same thing, basically. We're delighted that the acquisition is complete, and we're looking forward to continuing our partnership going forward. So back to today. There's a whole raft of sessions. VMware sessions, community sessions, and partner sessions. This is a rough look at the agenda. So breakout sessions are held in a bunch of the smaller rooms, which I'll point you to in a moment, as well as potentially this one too. Then breakout sessions, lunch, coffee breaks, etc., working through to the end of the day at 6. So prizes and such like, if you want to be in it to win it, please be around at the end. That's going to help us out no end. If you haven't seen the full agenda, there's a link for it. These cards are also available at the Reg desk and various other places around. So you should see these all day. There's also TV screens over in the expo, which are showing you the morning's agenda at the moment, and they'll flip to the afternoon's agenda a bit later on. So the other rooms that we've got executive rooms 1, 2, 7, and 8. Here's a cunning map I prepared earlier. Again, you'll see these maps. This is just a picture of what's outside here. So you should be able to see the executive rooms on there. There's 1 and 2, just next to us in Hall 8. And then the other ones are upstairs there. So that's outside here and across to the right to get to 1 and 2. And then the stairs at the end to take you up to the next floor. So I said prizes. Passport to prizes, again, you should hopefully have seen a passport to prizes card on the reg desk. If you haven't yet, go and pick one up from there. That gives you the vendors that you need to get stamps from if you want to be in it and win some of these lovely prizes. Now, if you saw the video at the start, VMUG Advantage was mentioned. I'll talk about it a little bit here. But who knows about VMUG Advantage already? Hopefully you all do. Or who's got VMUG Advantage already? Slightly less. All right. Well, I think this is a perfect way for you to get involved in educating yourself. If you're thinking about any certifications, you're thinking about anything on this slide. If you want to look at something, you want to experiment with something, you want to test drive something, the amount of stuff you get for VMUG Advantage these days is phenomenal. It's growing year on year. A whole raft of software, as you can see there. It's fantastic. Please take a look at it. Please consider it. You can save 10% with the code there, UC2023. $200 is the usual price for a year. There are multiple year things available. It's basically the only thing that VMUG will sell you. All this stuff's free. UserCon's free. Local events free. This is the only thing that we potentially sell to our end users. It's a fabulous way to support VMUG. It's a fabulous way to educate yourself. As I say, if you're thinking of any certs or the like, then this is perfect prep for you. Twisting your employer's arm to pay for it for you is even better, of course. It's always worth an option. So, as you go about your day-to-day, please feel free to tag us. As I said, anything discussed here is deemed to be public knowledge already, but feel free to put us out there. Hashtags, @ etc. That's our usual tags for the UserCon events. Now, something else we're asking for, of course, there's always something about feedback when you come to one of these things, so we have a survey. It's not overly long, but please take a look. Please fill it out for us. We'd really appreciate it. Not only does it talk about some of the things here, it talks about possible locations for future events, it talks about possible content for future events. We really want to know what you guys, particularly those of you who've come today, we want to know what you want to see from VMUG in the future. So say, please take a look, please fill it in for us. We'd really appreciate it. Realistically, all it remains for me to do is hand over to Mr. Joe Bagley. I was going to say about Joe, Joe's the man that makes me look good. But then I realized that might not have been quite the compliment that I wanted to deliver, so I'll have to explain further what I meant by that. I've come to quite a bunch of these UserCons now. Joe's done 10. Even more than that. I didn't do some of the early ones, but every year Joe's been a great supporter of VMUG, not just at this event, other events too, but I would come to a UserCon just to hear Joe. Joe gets to speak to CTOs, CEOs all the time. I don't. So distilling all that information and everything that VMware is looking at into a quick presentation is awesome. I'd take that knowledge back to my office every year, and Joe made me look good because I was able to pass that knowledge on. People looked at me like I got two heads the first time I tried it, and probably the second time I tried it as well, but by the time I kept going back and they realized then that what I was saying 2 years previously eventually came true for us, it made me look good. So hopefully Joe can make me look good again. Please, Mr. Bagley, join me on stage.